Okay, for this video, I'll be again enhancing the class we have created in the previous video. So if you haven't viewed the previous video, it will be helpful if you have viewed the previous video first. So I'll just discuss what I have added here. So here, I have added here another package or library. So I have imported prepared statement. So since for this video, I'll be talking about the prepared statement and how to insert and update records. So with that, we have to first import the prepared statement. So I have added this one. So if you're going to check, this is same. We have the connection, the statement, the result set. Then we have here the fields. And I have here now my constructor for the method. So I have my server, port, database name, username, and password. So I have connected. So I have my con object. That's my connection object. And I also have my default record set. That's why I executed this. I have here prepared a statement or created a statement and then execute that statement. So we select asterisk from M, then move to the first record. So if there are errors, then it will display the message here. That's my constructor. So display the records. This will display. Just execute this query, and then display the records. So YRS1 next. So we just create a statement, and then execute this query, and then record set. So get name, get MID, get the first field or the first column. That's ID, the column ID. Get ename, just rs, get string ename. So next is we execute rs next. Also first, we execute rs first, etc. Now, here is now the main objective of this video. How do we insert records? So if you still recall, to insert records in MySQL or any SQL or SQL database, we use the insert statement. So the syntax is insert into, and then the table name, then we have the fields, then values, and then the values that we will be inserting. So here, if we're going to look at this example, we have here insert into M. M is the name of the table, and these are the name of the fields. So we have ename, dep ID, and salary. So these are the name of the fields that I would like to be inserting. I will not be inserting ID because ID is auto increment. And then value, question mark, question mark, question mark. So these are the parameters. And this is what we do if we use prepared statement. So again, these are the parameters. So next here is we create a prepared statement. So using the prepared statement class. So we have a prepared statement here equal to, this is the connection, dot prepared statement, and then we have here the prepared statement SQL. So it is already here in this object, that statement. This statement is already here or placed here. Okay. Then what we're going to do is to provide the values for the parameters. So the question mark are the parameters. So here, the first parameter is for ename. That's why I have here prepared statement that set string, because ename here is a string. Then 1, that means that's the first parameter, comma ename. So I'm referring to this. And then for the next parameter, prepared statement that set in, because this is for ID. The second one is for ID, and ID is an integer. So set in 2, that's my second parameter, depth ID. So these arguments the values of these arguments will be placed in these parameters here. And then salary, so it's a float. That's why prepared statement set float 3 salary. So I'm referring to my third parameter here. And then all I have to do is to execute the statement by using the execute update method. So execute update method. Then that's it. We have now inserted the record. So again, we create the statement, insert into the table, the fields, open close parenthesis, and then values, and then here are the values that will be provided for these columns here. So we prepare the statement. Again, 1 is the first parameter, ename, string, so that's here. Dep ID, that's the second parameter, which is an integer, and then salary is a third parameter. So float, and then execute update. So that's how we insert. Now let's go to update. So update is similar, but of course we use different statement, but in principle it will be very similar with inserting. It's also update query. So here we have employee ID. That will be my primary key. Then the string name, dep ID, and float salary. So I have here update M. So that's how we update. Update followed by the name of the table. Then set field equals the new value, and then optionally but very important, we have the where close, where condition. So here what this statement says is that we are going to update the M table, and we set ename equal to this value or the parameter, comma dep ID equal to this parameter, and salary is equal to this parameter, where ID is equal to this parameter. Now it is very important that you have the where close, because if you don't have the where close, it will update all the records. So after this SQL statement, we again create the prepared statement. So using this statement, prepared statement equals con, the connection, that prepared statement, and then the SQL connection. So after creating the prepared statement, what's next? We provide the values for the parameters. So here's our first parameter, ename is actually string. So prepared statement that set string 1 ename, that's the first parameter. Prepared statement set int dep ID, which is my second parameter. Prepared statement set float 3 salary, that's my third parameter. And prepared statement set int for MID, which is my fourth parameter here, the first question mark. And then next we just execute update. And here's still another example that will display a particular record. So it says here display rec in MID. We're going to display a particular record. So string SQL is equal to select ID, ename dep ID salary from M, where ID is equal to question mark. So I'm going to display these values from M, where ID is equal to this one. So again, what's the first step? Create the prepared statement using the SQL statement here, and then provide the value for the parameter. So prepared statement that set in. So I have only one parameter here, one, which is where we provide the employee ID. Then execute. This time around, instead of execute update, I use execute query, because I'm using a select statement. So the result will be a result set. So result set rs1 is equal to prepared statement execute query. Then while we have a loop, actually this will not loop because I have only I use a primary key. So it's expected that we only have one record. This will display the first one, it is ID, get string 2, ename, get int 3, that is the ID, and then get float 4, that is for salary. Okay, so that's it. So please try to view I'll give you several moments to view the source code. Here's the source code for update. And here's the source code for insert. So now let's take a look at our main program. So this is still the program I have used in my previous video. So we created an object, display the records. Then we try to demonstrate the use of next, and first. Here we're going to insert a new record. Let's replace this one with What name will I place? Let's say that's a name. I don't know if the name of the person. And then display the records again, and then we just place a separator. Then we update. So here we're going to use this for this one's insert. We have the name, ID, and salary. So we have to insert name, ID, and salary. Then here we're going to update record number 2. So update MID, that will be my ID here. So I'm going to update the record with ID number 2 and change the name to Robert, change the department ID to, let's change this one to 1, and change the salary to 13255. And then display again the records, and then display record with an ID of 5. So that will be using this 5. 5 will be provided here, so it will display whatever is in record number 5. Now I would like to show you the so this is the contents of my record. So actually this was added. So Bert 3145. So we'll be editing this later. We're going to change the name to what? We're going to change the name to Robert. And we're going to insert Beringer. Then we're going to display record number 5, which is what record is number 5? Jessica. Okay, so let's run the program. That's not the output. So I run the program. That's it. Here's my output. So first it will display the records, so 1 to 16. Okay, and then display first, next, first, then display the record again. Start around after inserting Behringer. So initially we have up to 16. Now we have up to Behringer. And again, number 2 is Bert 34500. So after updating, it is now Robert 113255. And we display record number 5. So this is Jessica 110,000. Okay, so that ends my demo for today. Thank you for viewing this video.